So what will it mean for the pro-democracy camp if the result goes your way today?
There are several levels to this election, the meaning to this election. First of all, of course, it's the district seats. The majority has never been to the pro-democracy camp. So if this time we can get enough votes to get the majority of the seats, that would send a very clear message to the pro-government that the pro-democracy camp is stronger than ever. And on the other side of things, personally, I do think that this is somewhat of a non-official referendum where we have been in a movement, the pro-democracy movement, since early June. This is the 5th month, and this is actually the first time where we have a official system to register the tendency of the people. And so with the votes, I do think that the people on either side could show their real thoughts and how they feel about this whole movement. Whereas in the past months, Carrie Lam and also the pro-government camp, they have been trying to deliver this message that those who are on the streets and who are fighting for the freedoms are the minority. And we'll see, with the results of this particular election, I do think that that would be a very clear message to the government that we are not the minority here.
And could you explain to the people in America and the Western world, what are they so afraid of? What are the pro-democracy people afraid of? Why are they afraid of China's increasing influence here in Hong Kong?
You can see that in the past 22 years since the handover, Hong Kong's freedoms, whether it's the freedom of speech, freedom of press, or even the freedom of elections, it has been narrowed down to a very alarming level. That came from the fact that we do not have a government that is chosen by the people. We do not have a chief executive who is chosen by the people. So, with this CE who is only responding to the Chinese government, they are tightening their grip on the freedoms of the Hong Kong people. So, this is really this very critical point where if we do not fight and if we back down, then who knows what would happen with Hong Kong. If Hong Kong would become this another China city who would lose its freedoms and all things that were given to us in the basic law and with the one country, two systems. So we do not want the one country, two systems to be eroded to nothing. So basically we are fighting very hard to preserve this Hong Kong that has been known to the world and to ourselves. Yeah.
And you tweeted out something last week, I believe, that our sister company, the Epoch Times, Yuan, was one of the only newspapers not to include a pro-CCP message. And you might have seen that just last week, 4 masked men broke into a printing shop here in Hong Kong and tried to light it on fire. I don't know if you saw this. There was an arson attack.
I did not see that, but it is a fact that our press, most of our newspapers and most of our main media have been infiltrated by different Chinese authorities and companies or powers. So that photo that I tweeted was a very clear example of what is happening. 8 out of I think 6 out of 8 newspapers have the same commercial, the ad, the pro-government ad on their front pages. After a very, very devastating incident in Hong Kong, nobody talked about it except for Apple Daily and the Epoch Times. So basically, I think this is something that is happening in Hong Kong and also happening in many different countries in the world, including Taiwan. Their media is bought up by a lot of Chinese companies also, and Australia, and even in the US. There are a lot of different media that is starting to have Chinese powers in it. So no, it is not that we want to eliminate anyone. It's only that when you see this very huge machine that is the Chinese government, they have all these economic powers that make a lot of international companies conform to their values, and that should be alarming to anyone who believes in these universal values and who believes in freedom.
My last question, what would you like to say to the Western world? People in America and people that are in the West,
Right.
maybe governments, what would you like to tell them?
It should be alarming to anyone, to see what is happening in Hong Kong, because this really is not only a fight for Hong Kong, but really the fight between authoritarian governments and the free world. Hong Kong is just one of the examples of what could happen when you let these tyrants come in and take over the situation. So basically, the Chinese machines, they have been very sophisticated machines that have been working towards controlling a lot of different areas in the world, including universities with the Confucius Institute and so on, controlling different corporates, say the NBA and Blizzard. You see all these international corporations succumbing to this kind of political pressure. So if this could happen to these companies, then it could happen to you or me or anyone, basically. So if you do not want these universal values of freedoms, of justice, of the freedoms of speech to erode, and what has become of Hong Kong, then you should voice out your concerns and to make your government do something about the situation.
Anything else you would like to add?
Well, I mean, we are very thankful for all the attention that the international media has given to Hong Kong, because that has been something that has protected the Hong Kong people against further police violence or the violence coming from the government. So we hope that people will understand the situation more, that this really is a fight, a global fight for the freedoms of the people. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.